What is happening, everybody? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Happy to have you guys back. And now with the Dolphins season coming to an end, the absolutely disappointing and inconsistent 6-10 season. Just pretty much just want to go over and talk about the state of the team heading into the off season, and just pretty much going over who I think is going to be staying on the team for the 2018 season, and just some players' future of the team, and just how I think I performed this season. Alrighty, so I'm just going to start here with the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, with the quarterback position, the most vital part of the team. So after losing Ryan Tannehill, one of the first practices of training camp, the Dolphins were only left with Matt Moore and Brandon Dowdy. So who did Adam Gase turn to? He turned to Jay Cutler, the guy who he had a decent rapport with in 2015. Jay Cutler had a decent season that year. It wasn't great by any standards, but Adam Gase got one of the best seasons out of Jay Cutler that people weren't able to get out of him in years past. So we went ahead and brought him in. A lot of people were expecting him to, bring in similar production to Ryan Tannehill. But what we got was a veteran quarterback who performed to, the same level he did his whole career. Mediocre, up and down, and just completely inconsistent. We saw on that Monday Night Football game against New England, he had just a flawless game, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 112 rating. That game was just the best Jay Cutler ever. And that week, people were just harping on what could have been with this guy's career. People were just marveling at how well he played, and a lot of people were swayed by that one performance against New England. So what did he do the week after that against Buffalo, up in Buffalo? He decided he was going to be vintage, inconsistent Jay Cutler, and he was just going to churn out an absolutely horrendous game, throwing 3 picks in that game and a 47.5 rating, and pretty much lost us that game. Just those absolutely stupid interceptions, like they were like rookie mistakes, like they were young QB mistakes, like they were developing QBs, that are in the preseason, or guys, backup quarterbacks who don't have any experience. Like that's the kind of mistakes he was making. Like he does not have the poise, and just he does not play like a proper talented veteran quarterback who has command of the offense, and just never seemed to get the guys going. It seemed like he was always in his own world, like, I'm just out here to throw passes, and you better catch him, and if you make a mistake, I'm going to be angry. Like, that is his demeanor. Like, you can just see, when someone makes a mistake, he makes the most ridiculous, facial expressions, and he's just, he's disgusted. The whole time, he acts like he's disgusted with everyone, and that's just the complete opposite to Tannehill. Does not get the guys going, and it was just such an up and down season. And then the week after that, against Kansas City, he had a bit of a better game. 286 yards, 1 touchdown, 83.9 rating, but it just wasn't good enough. He only had 4 games this year of 100 quarterback rating. And our offense did, to be fair, our offense did struggle at the beginning of the season, but he didn't help the cause. Just didn't help to get the offense going. Didn't get us in a rhythm. He was just there to just, his whole demeanor is just like, I'm here to do my job. You better catch these passes, or we're gonna lose. He does nothing beyond that to get the guys going, and that just was the tale of the season. This 6-10 season, just a lack of fire, a lack of heart, and really, in a lot of cases, a lack of professionalism. Like a lot of the way, how things were handled this season, just wasn't handled the way a perennial winner goes about their business. So yeah, Jay Cutler, pretty much to sum up the season, completed 62% of his passes, 19 touchdowns, 14 picks, and an 80 quarterback rating. So this is exactly what we got. That's around what he is for his career. Around an 80 rating. Let's go have a quick look here to see. So for his career, he's got an 85 rating, which is, pretty similar. So don't know what we were expecting from him. I was really hoping he was going to help, lead us to the playoffs, because at the start of the season, when they compared Cutler's and and Tannehill's like 2016 numbers or their career numbers, it was pretty similar. Like and Jay Cutler had a better quarterback rating. He had a better completion percentage. So at the start of the season, it looked like a great move, but it turned out to be absolutely terrible for us. All we got was just a consistent quarterback who just seemed like he didn't give a shit most of the time. Moving on to Matt Moore, you know, when he took over in the second halves of game, that's when he was at his best. Like when he came in at halftime, when Jay Cutler was injured, you know, he just played tremendously. Especially I think it was the Buffalo game. But there was a couple of games where, you know, he came in and played well, but when he was starting and he was, you know, when he had the spotlight on him and he was, you know, he was the guy on Sunday. He just didn't come through for us. Just showing why he's a career backup. I really think that the height of his career was 2011 when he was the MVP. He was playing tremendously that year, and he just, excuse me, looked like a different quarterback in 2011. Like he looked much more athletic and things like that. You know, he was much younger back then, but wasn't the same guy from 2011, which a lot of people were hoping for. But and just the absolute, you know, pits for the season for Matt Moore was that 40-0 loss to the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. That was just absolutely terrible, but that mostly wasn't his fault. You know, the Ravens defense was just dominating us that game. We couldn't get anything going. So Matt Moore had some decent moments, but didn't show that he could be the guy for extended stretches. And just to touch on David Fales and how he looked this season, he had some moments against Buffalo this past game where he looked pretty solid. Just quickly, gonna have a quick look. So yeah, he had some moments where he looked like a solid quarterback, but he's kind of similar to Matt Moore. He's kind of limited physically. They're not overly big quarterbacks, both around 6'2", 6'3". So yeah, he's a bit limited physically, but he did play pretty well. He completed 69% of his passes, and he had an 84 rating. So 1 touchdown, 1 pick. David Fales, he looked pretty good playing with the ones. So he might be a guy that will be our third quarterback or on the practice squad. But I'm hoping that he'll be the third quarterback behind the young quarterback that I'm really hoping we're going to bring in this season, a guy that we draft this year. So yeah, David Fales is a decent QB to keep on the roster, to have around, just in case, you know, injuries, we get hit by the injury bug, or it's just nice to have a quarterback who knows Adam Gase's system. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the quarterback situation. Just absolutely up and down, just terrible. Hoping it looks much better next season with Ryan Tannehill. Anyone who thinks that, you know, Tannehill's not going to be our starting quarterback is just absolutely kidding themselves. He's definitely going to be the guy next year. Gase loves him, and the players love him too. And he's just got a great relationship and chemistry with the guys, with most of the people on offense. So Ryan Tannehill, hoping for great things from him next year, and hoping for much more consistency from the QB position heading into the season next year. And now that brings us to the running back position. And wow, what a weird year it was for the running backs. With Jay Ajayi being the lead man to start the season, he looked pretty good to start the season. But then bad play started to creep in, and bad decisions, and just the way he was clashing with coaches and Adam Gase just led him to being traded. I think it was week 8? I think it was week 8 or week 9. We traded him to Philadelphia for a 4th round pick. And that led to first Damian Williams being the lead man. But then when Damian Williams went down, Kenyon Drake took over, and he did not look back after that. He just showed that he truly is a lead, bell cow, elite running back that can truly do it all. His first full game of action against Denver, who was one of the best defenses this year. He rushed for 120 yards and had a 42-yard run, which we all remember just when he ran into the box, he did a couple juke move starter steps that were just absolutely like alien like just how his agility is just from another world. Kenyon Drake, and especially at his size, 6'1", 211 pounds. The guy runs amazingly and just gives me and Dolphins fans just confidence in the running back position. But that still doesn't mean I don't want us to. I really want us to draft another guy in the second or third or fourth round. Someone to just truly transform the offense and help us to just turn into a truly dynamic offense that has running backs that can catch the ball, that can block, and that can catch what Gase wants from his running backs. And then after that Denver game, Kenyon Drake against New England had another great game, 114 yards rushing, and also caught 5 catches for 79 yards. So, had a Le'Veon Bell-esque game right there. So, Kenyon Drake really surprised me this season. I thought that he was kind of like a outside zone kind of runner, a guy who he needs space and room to do his thing, to gain yards, but he truly can make guys miss running between the tackles, and he can run through people. He can run through arm tackles. He spins out of tackles. He jukes out of tackles. He's just got all the moves of a great, absolutely solid running back, and just he reminds me a lot of Adrian Peterson. Just the way he, like the cuts that he makes are just so violent. Like he just leaves guys in the dust. And Kenyon Drake, next season, hoping for more maturity and hoping he comes back stronger and with an even more refined game. So Kenyon Drake, just can't wait for him next year. Damien Williams, he wasn't spectacular. He did what we want of him. His biggest attribute is he does a great job of making guys miss. But he does a great job of catching the ball. He had 5 touchdowns last year. He didn't have the same production this year, but Damien Williams, not as talented, obviously, as Kenyon Drake, but I'm not really fussed if we bring him back next season. I really think that we can just grab another guy who's got a similar skill set. So I say just let Damien Williams walk. Who knows what kind of cash he wants? Maybe he wants similar contract than he got this season. I think he made about $2 million this season, so that's pretty reasonable. But we got other guys on the roster to look at. I really like, even though I think is it Davion Smith? Yeah, Davion Smith from Michigan. This past game against Buffalo, he caught a couple passes, but that guy really looks like an NFL running back. Like he looks huge out there. Like he is all of 230 pounds. I want to see more of him, Davion Smith and Sonoris Perry. Like I really like him in the return game. He's got a no nonsense kind of return game style similar to Jarvis Landry. He's no Jarvis Landry, but Sonoris Perry looks pretty nice in the return game. Can give you some carries here and there, but that's pretty much it for the running backs. Kenyon Drake just really separated himself as the true elite bell cow running back. He pretty much played all of the running back snaps these past 5 games. So Kenyon Drake really showed that he's that running back that I was hoping for to begin the season, and the Dolphins were hoping that he'd develop into, because he was very mature last year. Like Adam Gase has said countless times that his immaturity made him want to just bounce his head off a wall. So he really seemed like a humble and solid guy. So Kenyon Drake, hoping for great things. I'm going to be doing more videos just pretty much talking about and doing film sessions and film breakdowns on the guys on running backs that I definitely want the Dolphins to target. So yeah, that's the running backs as a whole for this past 2017 season. So that's pretty much it for the skill position guys. Just going to talk about the offensive line quickly. Just they were inconsistent too this season, like most areas of the team. We had stretches where we were awesome, not giving up any sacks, and then there were just games like the first Jets game and the Baltimore game where we just couldn't contain anyone, couldn't keep the quarterback clean. Couldn't open up running lanes and just couldn't, open up space for the running backs. Larry Tunsil had a disappointing year this year. Really was expecting him to be an absolutely dominant left tackle, and he honestly wasn't that. He did have stretches, again, where he was just absolutely awesome in pass blocking, not giving up any sacks. And then there were times where honestly did not look like that elite, top 15 pick, first rounder. So yeah, Larry Tunsil, really need to see him improving next season. Clyde Christensen says that he thinks that he's had 2 rookie years because he played guard last year and tackle this year, but I honestly do not buy that. Like, if an offensive lineman truly, can play all along the line and has the talent to do it, he should be able to just switch from guard to tackle like it's nothing, which I'm sure guys like Zach Martin can do. So Jesse Davis can play right guard and tackle pretty well, so what's Larry Tunsil's excuse? I'm sure he's a much more talented player than Jesse Davis, or is he? To be honest, like, Jesse Davis has been so solid. Like, going to be talking about him in a bit, but Larry Tunsil really has to improve at left tackle, or we could be drafting one this year or next year. So, really don't want to see that happening. But Larry Tunsil has to be that left tackle that I really, really want him to be. Anthony Steen started the season at left guard. He was pretty good in pass blocking, but he's got his limitations. He's pretty much just a fat block of blob out there as a guard, and really isn't dynamic like a Zach Martin or someone like that. And then he was obviously put on injured reserve. And then Mike Pouncey, Dolphins coaches and Pouncey himself are saying that he had a solid game this year, which he was good in pass protection, but he wasn't solid in run blocking. You can really tell that one of his hips or both are really affecting him, especially in run blocking. But he was one of the best pass blocking centers this year. So yeah. Mike Pouncey definitely isn't the Mike Pouncey of old, but still one of the best centers in the league when it comes to mostly pass blocking. Like, he has his moments run blocking, but not like previous seasons. And that takes me to Jesse Davis, as I previously mentioned. What a pleasant surprise this guy was. Really, like, the guy, 6'6", 321 pounds, out of Idaho. When he started at right tackle against Carolina on Monday Night Football, I was just truly impressed, like, how poised he was, like, his technique. He's got awesome punch. Like, when he locks onto guys, whether if it's at right guard or right tackle, like, he does not let them go. And he honestly isn't holding. Like, he didn't get many holding calls this season, like Tunsil or other players did. But Jesse Davis, what a pleasant surprise he was. He's played so well this year that he's probably locked up an offensive line, a spot on the line next year, whether it's at right guard or right tackle or left guard. But his home probably is the right side of the line. But he's played so well that he's made myself and many Dolphins media, maybe coaches, think that he might be able to step in and just be Juwan James' replacement, and we can just send Juwan James on his way with that $9.3 million cap hit. So Jesse Davis, can't wait for the future from him. A young guy who honestly still has room to develop. Who else am I missing? Jamon Bushrod really didn't play as well as last year. Got beat up in pass protection. No idea why we brought him back again this year. I think maybe they like his... Gase probably likes his... his leadership, and he's just... the way he goes about his business, helping out those younger guys to, be true professionals. But Jamon Bushrod really wasn't great this season. I really think he's going to be retiring this year at 33 years old. So, yeah. The offensive lineman, we have to draft one early. Not sure what free agents that are out there, but We have to get another guard, maybe 2 guards if Jesse Davis goes back to center, just so we can shore up that offensive line. There's a reason why we had trouble running the ball, and before Kenyon Drake was in there, and the reason we couldn't keep Jay Cutler healthy and also untouched is because of the lack of talent on the offensive line. Guys like Anthony Steen and Ted Larson, honestly, are just not going to get it done. Oh, I forgot to mention Ted Larson. Ted Larson, he played well. Don't have any problems with him, but he's no Quentin Nelson by any means. So yeah, want to see the Dolphins taking Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame. We're going to be picking 11th, so that's highly likely. Who knows? Nelson's like such an awesome guard that he might even go top 5, probably top 10, but his range, I'm hoping, is between the 10 to the 15th pick. So we have to take one in the first round or the second round, maybe the third round, and maybe free agents can be expensive. But if there's a guy we like, we have to pay him. It's just so important that we shore up that offensive line. Like that is our prop. That is why our offense hasn't been a high-powered, dynamic offense. We need to shore up the defensive line. So many teams around the league have showed that that's the blueprint. Like the Atlanta Falcons last year, the Carolina Panthers a couple of years ago, and this year have had a solid offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys showed that they can just run the ball with whoever's back there. With those guys they've got, just any offensive line around the league. The Patriots are the outlier. They do draft guys in the mid rounds and turn them into great linemen, but the Patriots are just on a different level compared to other franchises, and that's honestly what we're reaching for as a franchise. This Dolphins team is. So that's the offense as a whole. There are many holes to plug in there, but honestly, not as much as defense, who I'm going to be reviewing in my next video. Going to be breaking down how the defense did this year, the state of the defense at the end of the season and heading into the season. So yeah, that's just my thoughts there on the offensive side of the ball. Make sure to give me some feedback in the comments section. Let me know if you agree with my thoughts on the offense this season. Just give me your thoughts on how you think the players performed or coaches. Any feedback's great. Always love it here on the Miami Football Fanatics. So, till next video, fins up, baby. I'll see you guys in the next one.